Crap. There we go. That's where we need to go. Let's get to it.
So now we look again at our rice.
Hope you're all doing well. Good to see you.
And those grains have practically
We'll get right into watching some Julia as we do our knitting. So let's get to our knitting.
Only part in the
How's it going? Hey, Knots and Stitches. Congrats on getting first.
Because once you've gotten this rice, this flour,
and congratulations on being you're done.
With the rice grains sticking together.
Gotta bind off. That's awesome.
Now,
congratulations.
Cooked sufficiently, and you can very easily see this yourself when you're doing it. You'll notice that milky color. Then in goes the liquid, and we just put our herb bouquet right in, and we want this to come up to the boil. And as soon as it's come up to the boil, we then cover it and let it simmer slowly. And at this point, it's a good idea to taste it. The chicken stock already has a little bit of salt in it, but you want to have it just salty enough. As that can use just a little bit more salt. And you can put in some pepper. And if you want other flavoring, say if you were having rice with fish, you could use a fish stock. If you didn't have a homemade stock, you could use clam juice and water. Or you could put a little bit of white wine in if you like. Or if you wanted, you could use tomato juice. And if you like garlic, at this point you could just squeeze a clove of garlic in, which is very nice. And then as soon as that comes up to the simmer, which it almost has, you cover it. You can stir it at this point now, but once it started to simmer and you cover it, you don't stir it at all.
You're excited for the finish.
The rice is done, and it's going to take
That's exciting.
18 minutes. Now it's just coming up.
Take pictures.
Boil there, and I'm going to set my timer for
and chicken, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good one.
To cook at a sort of slow boil or fast simmer because all
right, let's see.
Absorbed by the time the rice is done. And now, back to our chicken.
Back to our chicken.
And we're going, because these take such a short amount of time to cook.
And also, already the next project, what's the next project going to be?
Cook right away,
that is exciting.
And then I'll go back and show you how we bone them.
You're going to bone our chicken?
Now this is what the bone breast looks like. It's just looks like a little lovely little piece of meat like that. And in good French cooking, a suprême de volaille, suprême or supreme means the daintiest and loveliest part of the chicken, is never boiled or poached. It's always cooked in butter in a covered casserole, or else it is sautéed. And you can put whatever flavorings you like in it, such as mushrooms, but we've used so many mushrooms, I thought we'd use something else. In this case, we're going to use vegetables. We're going to use celery and carrots and 1 or 2 mushrooms and onion, and it's all chopped up very fine. And I'll show you how you chop up things quickly and into a dice. Now here's your carrot. You see, if you tried to cut it into dice this way, it rolls around. So you take your knife and cut a sliver off the side of it, like that, and then the carrot will sit perfectly nicely on the board, and then you cut long pieces like that all the way down, and that makes you see long pieces like that, and then you take the individual pieces and cut them into strips. These are called julienne, and then you gather the strips together and cut them into dice like that. And I have some that has been already made. And you first heat the butter in your casserole. We're going to use about 3 tablespoons of butter. And then we're going to put in about a cup of this vegetable mixture, and that should cook slowly until the vegetables are tender, about 3 or 4 minutes. And then when the vegetables are tender and the butter is thoroughly bubbling in the casserole, you put your chicken breasts in. Now these have been already prepared, and they have salt and pepper and lemon juice on them. These cook in about 5 or 6 minutes, and that's why it makes such a lovely little meal. And then as soon as your butter is good and hot and bubbling and the vegetables have been cooked, you simply take your chicken breasts and lay them in and then roll them around to get them thoroughly covered with the butter and the vegetables. And as they slowly cook, I mean, they're going to cook fast, excuse me, they absorb all this delicious flavor.
Gotta cook fast. Like Sonic.
Thoroughly covered.
Oops,
there.
oh no! Go back.
Put on some wax paper, because we don't want them to brown. These are called poché à blanc, or unbrowned. You cover that with your wax.
Where am I in the pattern? Row 70.
And it goes into the oven.
76 out of 270, so we got 200 rows to go.
400-degree oven, and they're going to cook 5 to 6 minutes. It's amazing that they do cook so fast. And now we'll get back to how to arrive at these lovely, delicate little morsels. Now this comes, here's your breast here. I'll remove that part of that leg so you can see it better. It's all this part in here. And when you buy the chicken breast in a market, it is either a single-breasted piece like this, or you get the double breast. And sometimes it has the wing on and sometimes not, but it usually always has the bones in. You can ask your butcher to do it, or you can very easily do it yourself. I recommend you learn how to work with meat yourself, because you get a much better idea of what the meat is like. And then to bone it, you simply take a sharp knife, and there's your breastbone there, and these are the ribs here. You start at the
Okay, we saved it. Woo, that was close.
Right down, and remember,
4 stitches came off there at the end. It was bad.
You cut always against the bone.
Getting under 200? Yeah, I know, I'm excited. Especially, I mean, the total number here is 650 or whatever, so
there's your breastbone.
We're getting there.
Showing itself perfectly well.
We're getting there.
And then you just cut and sort of scrape down with your fingers.
With your fingers?
And then in the case you still have the wing left on, when you get to where the wing joins the shoulder up here, you just cut through the ball joint that attaches it. See, this is one reason why it's good to do the boning yourself. When you start to carve, you're a much better carver because you know where everything is. And then there's your carcass. See, that's the edge of the breastbone there, and there are the ribs. And then you have your wing, which is still attached. So you just cut right down through that. Be sure that you have a sharp knife. There's a little bit of the...
Yeah, so knots and stitches. What's the next project? It's exciting. Already plotting the next one.
Then you have your skin, and that comes off very easily. You just peel it. You see, it just comes right off. If it sticks a little bit, you use your knife. You can peel a whole chicken just doing this. And then you can save all of that skin as well to make a chicken stock.
Okay, I'll take a look here in a second.
Now, you have your breast meat there, and you'll notice that there are 2 layers of it. You see, there's this inner layer, and that's the layer that was connected to the bones, and that in French is called the filet mignon. And then you have this larger piece, which is the outside, and that's called the filet. And in the filet mignon, or the little piece, you will notice a little white tendon there, and that part was attached to the wishbone, and it's tough, and that you've got to get out, because otherwise it makes the breast curl up. So you just take your knife and cut along the side of it, and then when you get the end there, you grip it with a towel or a paper towel or anything, because it's sort of slippery.
Hey, sure, Misfire. How's it going?
On it, and then cut down the side a little bit more with your knife. You can see how it comes out there, and then you've gotten rid of it. You see it there? And then you can, if you'd like, you can take off this filet mignon part and use it as a second serving. Or you can leave it on. It depends. Of course, it'll cook quicker if you've taken the filet mignon off. And then you trim the breast a little bit to get off any rough edges. Like that. And then you take a big knife and you just flatten it a little bit. And then you can get these ready a day ahead of time and then wrap them in wax paper, and they're ready to cook, just as we saw at the beginning. And now our chicken breast ought to be ready, so I'm going to take a look in the oven.
Okay, here we go. Take a look at this.
That's been just about 5 minutes. Remember, that oven was at 400.
Ooh, pretty. A Paragould. Ooh, that's really nice.
It always smells so good. Now, you can tell when
Oh,
they're
that'll be
ready
fun. Are you going to make the yarn for that, or are you going to...
Poking them with
You'll be
your
using your
finger.
sweater spin. Okay, nice. From the Tour de
And
Fleece.
if
Oh, that's
it's,
awesome.
Resilient.
Very
They're
cool.
done. If it's still squashy like the raw breast, it isn't done.
Bitchcraft.
And if it's hard, it is
It's
overdone, which is too bad. But you
Going
want to
good.
get them
Got a new
just as
phone.
much when
Hey,
they're
got that all
resilient.
transferred set up.
And the
Nice.
finger test is
Haven't gotten a
something
new phone in 5
that's
years.
very useful to know.
Process was
because
simpler. Yeah.
You can tell when
Yeah, it has been a little bit
done
more
by
streamlined over the
mixing
years.
it that way. Remember what the raw.
Well, cool. Congrats on the new phone.
Remember what an overdone taste feels like. But just get used to using your finger for all sorts of things. And now at this point, our rice should be done. At least we'll take a look at it. No, that is.
Okay, I think unfortunately we have to, we're going to use that quote as well. Did you catch that here?
But just get used to using your finger for all sorts of things.
Also, 1843, get used to using your finger for all sorts of things. Also switch carriers. Oh, nice. You're officially a real couple. That's
Now,
right.
At this point, our rice should be done. At least we'll take a look at it.
Congratulations.
No, that isn't done yet. You see the
Is
liquid
it-
is still there.
Do you have the same type of phone, though?
We're going to make our sauce.
Or did you go with a new phone, too?
And I'm gonna
New
take
phone
the
type.
breasts out, and then we'll make the sauce for our chicken breasts. I'll get a bigger spoon, and we'll just put these on a plate. And then all of these vegetables we keep, and they go into the sauce. I mean, they stay there, and we make the sauce out of it. And as you're going to see, this is a very quickly made sauce. We're going to deglaze it using a little port wine. You don't have to use wine if you don't like. But I'm going to put in about 1/4 of a cup of port wine there. And then for a little more added flavor, I'm going to use some brown chicken stock. Or you can use canned beef bouillon. And I'm going to put in about a...
Oh, wow. New phone, too.
of a cup
Motorola
there.
Razr. Okay.
And then
One of the
that
new
can
flip
boil
phones. Oh,
down
nice.
very quickly. And
He
then
likes his 2013
you
or
can
2023.
add cream if you'd like, or
Small screen on the outside, which I like very much.
I'm gonna
Huh.
go the whole
Cool.
hog on this so that we will have
Well, there you go.
cream.
A lot of
that's
changes.
Thickened with cornstarch.
A lot of changes all at once. Crazy.
And we're going to have, let's see, we have 5 breasts here. And so we would like to have about almost a half a cup of sauce per breast. So that we want about, well, I say we'll have about 2 cups. And so we want the sauce to be just thick enough so it will adhere to the breasts. So I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and then mix it up with the cream. You want to mix this all up so that there are no lumps in it. I'm using heavy cream here. When we do veal scallops later on, we're going to make a brown tarragon sauce, which has no cream in it. But the cream is such a French type of sauce that I wanted you to see how we did that. Now, before we add the cream, we want this to boil down. You see, it's a little bit too liquid. Take another look at our rice. Now I want you to look here. You see the reason you don't stir the rice at all while it's cooking. If you notice, there are those little holes there. They look like clam holes in the sand. But you can still see that there's a little bit of liquid exuding through those holes, so the rice isn't done yet. So we cover it and let it cook some more. Now this is boiling down. What you want to do in a sauce like this, you want it to boil down until it gets a little bit syrupy. And that is a little bit syrupy.
Hey, Wincing!
Take it off the heat.
Happy Wednesday.
And we
Oh, it also folds up wallet size. You don't use a purse. Oh, okay.
Stir it up.
Always have a phone in your pocket. Oh, nice. Okay. Very cool.
And then put it back on the heat.
I miss having a flip phone with the clamshell with the touch keyboard, the tactile keyboard.
Thin it out with a little bit more
I kind of
cream,
miss
or you
that.
can use a little bouillon. But this has to cook for a minute or 2 to cook the cornstarch. You want to be careful at this
But it's
time
interesting that flip phones are coming
don't
back.
let the sauce scorch in the bottom of the pan, and now we want to taste it.
He had one forever who called it his dumb phone. Mine was a full keyboard, right? It was, the phone was shaped like that, but you opened it up and there's a keyboard this way that was actually a full keyboard.
Salt in it.
It was nice, and so you had a screen up on the. Oh, okay. Yeah. Those are great. Those are great. I think I still have that.
In this case, it doesn't seem to need it. And that's still a little bit thick, so I'm going to put in a little more bouillon. And then I think we're about ready to serve it. You see, that's awfully quickly made, and it makes a simply delicious dish. Now we're ready to serve. Now the rice is here. You see there those little clam holes. And then to make sure that it's done, you lift up an edge and tilt the pan. And if there's no liquid there, that means that you can stir it. And then you taste it to make sure that it has enough salt and pepper in. Very good. It's one of the nicest ways of making rice, and you can see it isn't difficult at all. Now I'll get rid of the herb bouquet. And then we put our rice on the platter. And then on go the chicken breasts. And see, these chicken breasts still have some of those vegetables on, and then the sauce with vegetables will go on top of that. And our sauce is all done. Now with these chicken breasts done this way, you really want to, they should be served just immediately they're cooked. After you take them out of the oven, you'd put a plate over them to keep them warm, and then your sauce really takes only about 2 minutes. And then put around a little bit of parsley, and you just have a lovely meal. I'll just put a bit of parsley right in the middle there. Parsley is certainly one of the most useful decorative things we have. And it keeps awfully well if you just wash it off and then keep it in a little jar in the refrigerator or in a covered bag. There. Now that really is an elegant meal in just a very, very few minutes. And we're serving this with hot French bread and with rice braised in stock. Next time we're going to do this, and spinach braised in stock, which is perfectly delicious. And with it, we're serving a chilled white Burgundy wine. Or you can, if you'd like, serve a rosé or a chilled white Grave. Now this chicken that we used was a 3-pound fryer. And make sure when you buy your chicken breast that you get very good quality, because anything that's going to cook in 6 minutes has to be excellent quality and tender to begin with. It's really our fault as consumers if we have springy chickens, because sometimes we're more interested in price than in quality. I got this chicken at a place that specializes in chicken, and they have perfectly beautiful beasts or birds. But you sometimes will find that the white meat of chicken is stringy, and if that's so, it's because it's probably been killed and then chilled too quickly. But if you have a bad piece of chicken, take it back to your market and complain and get all your friends to complain. That's the only way of getting good chicken. Now with the rice,
I love it. Hey, Dad, how's it going?
Understood how we did that, and it's delicious with it. And next time, we're going to do vegetables the French way, including this lovely spinach. So that's all for today on The French Chef. This is Julia Child. Bon appétit.
Bon appetit. It's the only way to get good chicken. Complain.
Julia Child is co-author of the book Mastering the Art.
Okay, wait a minute.
A place that specializes in chicken, and they have perfectly beautiful beasts or birds, but you sometimes will find them. Get back to your market and complain and get all your friends to complain. That's the only way of getting good chicken. Now with the rice,
I think that's a good quote. If you have a bad piece of chicken.
But if you have a bad piece of chicken, take it back to your market and complain and get all your friends to complain. That's the only way of getting good chicken.
All right, that was 2737. 2737. Add chicken. A way to get good chicken. So in this episode, we had the very first line was, "Here is our dear little old friend, the chicken." And then we also had, "Get used to using your finger for all sorts of things." Oh my god. Get used to using your finger for all sorts of things. Oh crap, there goes my needle. And then the line we just heard. Yeah, there's some good ones. There were some good ones in this episode. All right.
Chef is made possible by a grant from Safeway stores.
Boom. So spinach is next. Oh, vegetables the French.
Here are vegetables cooked the French way. Glazed carrots, broiled stuffed mushrooms, buttered string beans, and creamed braised spinach as a bed for poached eggs. This is what we're going to do next time on the French Chef.
The French Chef is made possible by a grant from Safeway stores.
Dan, how are you doing? Good to see you.
We're doing vegetables today on the French Chef. Carrots.
Had a abbreviated another late meeting today.
And braised spinach. That's what we're going to do today on the French Chef.
Oh, back to the full thing. I think tomorrow I'll be back to kind of normal.
Welcome to the French Chef. I'm Julia Child. Today we're going to do vegetables the French way. One of the things that most amazed and delighted me when I first went to France was they're absolutely delicious vegetables. They're so good you can serve them as a separate course. And they have a special way of cooking vegetables. They're not considered just
doing all right, retired, long day. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I was gonna say it's late over there.
Absolutely delicious food that nature has given us and that should be cooked with loving care.
Yeah, I've been starting late too.
I'm going to show you now.
Usually I'm on much earlier,
with green string beans.
but I've had really late meetings at work.
In France, beans are about that size or that size, very small, thin ones, that's about 1/4 of an inch across. Our beans are usually much bigger. These are all, of course, American beans, and they come in all different sizes. If you want to take the time to pick them all out one by one, you can. But it doesn't really make too much difference. To prepare them, we're going to cook them whole. You take the end like that and just pull it down. If by any chance there's any string, just by pulling it down that way, you pull the string off. You get a much better tasting bean if you cook them whole. This business of what they call Frenched beans is something they never do in France because they don't have to. And if they're cooked Frenched, you get much less flavor than if you cook them whole. So we have our beans here all prepared. And before you cook them, you want to wash them in hot water. And just before you cook them, just quickly wash them in hot water.
Hey, Daioh. You were off today, been cleaning all day. Mother-in-law's come. Oh, 9 days. Ooh. Good luck. Good luck.
Boiling water. Now this was something that surprised me because very often you hear, well, you don't cook vegetables in a large amount of water, but what people usually mean is a quart of water.
9-day
I have
guest.
here in this kettle about 8 or 9 quarts of rapidly boiling water. And that's one of the great points of the French system, that you cook them an enormous amount of boiling in water, and then they come rapidly back to the boil again. And then you take them out as soon as they're done. And that's what keeps them green and fresh, because
No music. We haven't been doing music for like a week.
Seals the juices.
We've been watching the Iron Chef, or the Iron Chef, the French Chef here.
Now, when I was in France, I had a wonderful old chef called Max Bunière, who was about 70 years old. And he said that when he'd been working on an ocean.
Oh no, that was real Dan Fitz. Real Dan Fitz has a mother-in-law coming in.
Big red hot iron from the stove into the water. And when I was in Washington, I was telling a friend of ours whose nickname is Old Buffalo about this wonderful system, and I said, I wish I had something that was non-rustable. And he said, well, I'll make you one. So he made me a stainless steel rod with a wooden handle, and I've had it heating here until it's very hot.
Well, check that out.
You plunge it into your kettle like that, and that brings the water very fast up to the boil again. And that's one of the great reasons that you use a lot of water, because the more water you use that's rapidly boiling, the quicker it comes back to the boil again after you put your beans in. And now these are going to cook about for just about 5 minutes. And so I'm going to put them over on another burner where they boil.
Wrong at. She's an absolute monster. Oh boy. Good luck.
It's very important to keeping the beans green, that they always boil uncovered, and then you keep your eye on them. And while those are boiling,
Daioh, how's it going? Your glove is looking amazing.
Peeled carrot.
Your mitten.
And I'm going to cut them up into quarters like that. That in France is called la coupe bourgeoise. And you just cut your carrot like that, and then cut it in half.
Did you write down what you did, or are you gonna be able to make another one?
You find that a great big knife is much easier to use than a little knife because you don't have to do very much work. The knife does it for you. Then when they're all cut, you put them into your pot, and then we're going to put in cover to just about half their height in water, like that, and then put in a little bit of butter. I've got about 2 cups of carrots there, and I'm going to put in about a tablespoon and a half of butter, and then a little salt. I'll put in about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then to give them a little more flavor, we'll give them.
You remember those days?
Shallot.
Your ex's mother is a nightmare.
These shallots are very
Epitome of toxic boy mom. Oh boy.
Get here, and they're quite expensive.
Oh no.
It's the small
Well,
member
at least
of
that's in the
onion
past.
family. But it's so tender, it cooks very quickly.
Had some sort of pain in your shoulder now. You have no how to recuperate. Oh no. It aches in your back,
Done this so many times.
your neck, and past your scapula. Wow.
You can also cook these carrots.
Ooh,
in
yeah, that sounds awful. That sounds like
a little
just
bit of
really
chicken
uncomfortable.
broth. When they
Like there's
come
no
up,
way to get it to stop.
You cover them and just let them cook very slowly for about 20 minutes, and you can do them way ahead of time. So you just cover them and then let them cook slowly, and you can keep watching them, and by the time the carrots are tender, the water's all boiled away, and you haven't lost any of the carrot flavor. Well, I think carrots are hideously dull when they're just boiled in water and then drained. And in this way, you lose none of your flavor.
You remember what you did for it? You can reverse engineer. Okay, well, that's good.
Quietly.
You got to make the mirror image.
Beans. I think the buffalo iron has done its work. I wish somebody would manufacture those things. Now, you always want to keep looking at them after about 4 minutes is gone. I always use chopsticks to pick them out with. Take your biggest bean. Can't seem to get it out today. There. And just taste it. Well, just about done. They're done when it just has a little touch of crunchiness. It depends very much on your taste. I like them so they have a little touch of crunchiness in them.
You put, Volta in yesterday? Didn't go much, but now you know what movement to avoid. Oh.
There's another part of the French system, which is immediately you feel they're done. And
yeah, that sounds annoying.
Their hot water, they lose all their freshness. You put a colander on top and then grip the handles and pour out all the boiling water. And then you refresh them in cold water to stop the cooking immediately. Now this is just exactly the system that all the big commercial vegetable freezers use. This hot water cooking is called blanching, and then immediately they're done, cooling them off in cold water. I'm sticking on a bean. And this cooling them off stops the cooking immediately, retains the color and all the texture of them. And if you taste them after this is done, they're absolutely delicious, and they retain that lovely green color. You want to cool them off for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then drain out the cold water.
2 and 2. Choking on the beans. She was having trouble with the bean.
Pour the beans into a colander. And there, those are
Oh, she didn't say choking, but
tender.
having trouble with a bean, I think it was.
You can do way ahead of time. You can do these in the morning. And don't hesitate to use your fingers if you always scrub up before you wash. And then just taste it now. It's just delicious. Sweet as a nut, and it has that nice crunchy taste, which is just lovely. Now, if you do these ahead of time, you just drain them thoroughly, and it's even a good idea to wipe them off, spread them in a towel so they'll dry off. And then, when you're ready to cook them, and this is very important, you never heat them until
You do similar thing when boiling eggs. What's that? Have trouble eating the egg?
them as they are into a pot over heat, and you want to dry off any of the water which is still remaining, and then we're going to put on butter and lemon juice and parsley and flavor them. But if they're all wet, the butter isn't going to stick to them, and we want sort of a nice, lovely, buttery glaze on them. You can put in just as much butter as you want. I shall be reasonable and put in about 2 or 3 tablespoons. I've got about 2 pounds of beans here, and that's enough for 4 people. You'll find that when you cook beans this way, I'm still choking on that bean. When you cook them this way, people like them so much that they eat a lot more than they usually would.
Oh, you put my seawater, okay.
Water evaporate to put in. You put in some butter,
For Julia.
tossing them like that, and they need salt and pepper.
You know, she just wants to go off to the side and go, ha!
A little over a 1/4 teaspoon of salt at first, because you don't want to over-salt them, and then just keep shaking them. You notice the shake I'm using is sort of an up and down circular motion like that. And then it's always nice to have a little bit of lemon juice in.
The killer bean.
Taps them up a little bit. There. And then put on a little bit more butter. You see, this heating up doesn't take very long. I didn't put in any pepper there.
Oh, man.
Now taste them. Always remember to taste. And just use your fingers. Don't
Yeah, a whole bottle of water.
itsy bitsy about things. You want to be sure you got enough salt on that. That's delicious now. And when they're thoroughly heated through, you can put on some parsley, and then they're ready to serve. Now, you see that heating takes a very little time, and it makes so much difference in the way they taste. You always toss them with some parsley.
Hey,
first, and then
Olive.
sprinkle on
How are you
some
doing?
just before you serve them. Because they look lovely, and they just taste delicious. I'll put them to the side now. And now,
There
I'm
we
going to
go.
do some broiled stuffed mushrooms. And this
Doing
is a
okay?
very
All right.
quick and
Glad to hear
easy
it.
dish to do, and simply delicious. I've got these nice fresh mushrooms, including a monster one here. And to do this, you
Oh, you got a new plant today. Nice. What'd you get?
Off a little bit. You hold it and then very gently push the stem back and forth until it comes out. You
Congratulations.
want the mushrooms to stay whole.
An arrowhead
Then
plant.
you
Ooh,
chop
fun.
them up. I love this great big chopping knife. Start out that way. Of course, with any of these things, you've got to have a really sharp knife.
That's cool.
And then hold your knife in your 2 hands like that and just chop back and forth. If you don't have a sharp knife, you just mash the mushrooms, and what you want them are in distinct little pieces. We're going to chop them up into about 1/16 inch pieces. If you were starting out to study as a French chef, you'd spend about your first 2 years chopping mushrooms and onions and everything else. And you'd think you've got all your mushrooms chopped fine enough, and the chef would say, no, it's not nearly fine enough. There isn't any quicker way of doing this. There. Now, what the stuffing that we're going to make for these mushrooms is called a duxelle, mushroom duxelle. And the trick about this one is after you've gotten them all chopped up, you're going to squeeze the juice out of it because anytime you make a mushroom stuffing, you cook the mushrooms and you want all the juice to be out of them. Otherwise, if you put it as a stuffing, the juice would come out as, say, as the mushrooms cook, and it would all be sort of gooey, which we don't want. Now I've got them in the corner of a clean towel.
You see it take care of a particular, you don't know? Uh-oh. Good luck.
And then twist them until the juice comes out. There's not very much there. You can see it's a little tiny bit. There. You can save that juice, such as it is, for a sauce.
You always get succulents. Oh.
And then we're going to saute.
That's funny. Succulents
butter.
can be kind of hard if you water them too much, right? They die.
We've not got very much, so I'll use not even quite a tablespoon of butter. And when that gets hot,
I guess that's probably good for some.
It's absolutely hot. In this case, in they go. And then to give a little more flavor, we'll add some minced shallot. You notice that cutting down this way and cutting across. Do practice this method because it's so quick. It does take a little practice. It takes you about a week or so to learn, but anytime you're going to chop anything, just practice on these various things and you'll find that you've learned it.
Submerged in a bucket of water once a month.
Now that is just going to cook for 4 or 5
Google says it's
minutes.
easy to take care of. Oh, that's good. You just watered mine. Your spider plant was thirsty. Oh.
And you just have to stand over it because you don't want the mushrooms to
Yeah, I
burn.
just watered all my plants yesterday.
They're done.
They tend to go about a week or so.
The pieces begin to separate from each other. Just keep stirring it around. It smells awfully good. That little bit of shallot is just delicious in them. Then after the pieces begin to separate from each other in 2 or 3 minutes, we're then going to put some cream in them. And so, because you want, as the French say, a liaison, so you want to have a little bit of flour. This is really like making a mushroom sauce. I'm putting in about half a tablespoon of flour. And as always, you cook the flour for about a minute or two so that you won't have a horrid, tasty, pasty, floury taste. And then after that's cooked about a minute or two, I'm using very heavy cream.
Your orchid lost all the flowers?
And this thing
Oh, good luck. Good luck. Getting that orchid to reflower is
enough cream so that after it's cooked down for a minute, it makes a fairly
not trivial.
Mass. I can put a little bit more in. And then we want to have some salt and pepper. You see, this is really a very quick thing to do. And just a little bit of salt. And then here are our mushroom caps all ready to be filled. And it's a good idea to rub them with butter. You see, again, I always use my hands. You just really, if you're squeamish about using your hands, it just takes you a very long time to cook, and you're not going to be as efficient about it as you should. Now, our mushroom sauce is thickened up, and we put in a little bit of parsley. And then we just fill the mushrooms with the sauce. There.
crossing all your fingers and toes and vines. Good luck.
These mushrooms are just, well, they're delicious all by themselves. You can put them on toast or surround a roast with them. That big giant mushroom is going to take just about all the rest of the sauce. That's a lovely one. When you're buying mushrooms, it's best to go to a supermarket that has
Your
them
first
all.
orchid, 7 years.
Pick out the
Flowers
ones
every
that
now and
you
then.
want.
Nice. Oh, that's cool.
there, and then that gets a little bit
They
of
like very
grated
particular
Swiss
conditions.
cheese on the top. And you can set them aside then, and then
I think it's generally
brown
too
them under
dry
the
in my
wire
place.
when you're ready to serve them. And it takes about 5 minutes, and you want to set them about 5 or 6 inches from a hot broiler so that they'll heat through and cook slowly while the top is browning. So those are all done now. And now we're going to do spinach braised in butter. If you're not very much of a spinach fan, I think you'll find this an absolutely delicious way of doing it. Now, this is fresh, whole spinach, which has been cooked just the way the beans are in a large pot of boiling water. But
Your mom doesn't have a green
only for
thumb.
about
You told her the
a
simple
minute
way
or
to take
two
care of it,
until
and it's still alive and
becomes
flour. There you
like
go.
this. And before you cook your spinach, this is going to be chopped spinach. So to take the stem off, you just hold it in your hand like that and pull the stem off.
Best place for an organ is a shower room with natural light. Yeah, see, that's the problem is, at least here, most bathrooms, no, I wouldn't say most, but my bathrooms, none of them have natural light.
Wash it by pumping it up and down in water. And then you put it in your very hot water. I mean your boiling water. And now we're going to chop the spinach. No, first what we're going to do is to squeeze the water out of it. Now this is essential if you're going to make lovely tasting braised spinach. You just squeeze it like that, and you can save all of that juice for a sauce, or I mean not a sauce, or for a soup, or you can drink it. There isn't very much taste in it. This is something that often horrifies Americans because they've been, I don't know, sort of buffaloed into doing nothing about a vegetable, and just the idea of squeezing it just seems like sacrilege. But this is so good. You'll find that if you cook it this way, you'll have a lot of spinach lovers in the house. Now I'm going to chop it. And one thing you want to be very careful about spinach is it easily picks up a metallic taste. I don't know why. So I'm very careful, and I chop with a stainless steel knife. In fact, I save this as my spinach chopping knife. I've tried the frozen chopped spinach, and that's got an awful lot of water in it. I haven't really decided what the best way to do is. I usually get the frozen leaf spinach and then let it defrost, and it comes up to the same point that you just saw it now. It's watery, so you just squeeze it out, and it turns out very well. And then again, as with the beans, you let it cook for a minute or two to get rid of the water. And when it begins sticking to the bottom of the pan, you've gotten rid of the excess water. And then again, we're going to put a little bit of flour in. I've got about 2 cups of spinach, and I'm going to use about 1.5 tablespoons of flour. And you want some butter in too. And let that cook for about a minute so that you've cooked your flour. And then you add either cream or chicken stock. I'm going to add cream this time because it's so nice. Put in about 1/2 cup and let it cook very slowly.
North-facing window, best place?
Before that, you put in some salt and some pepper.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's my kitchen.
And you see
Buy a North Face jacket, put in a bathroom near a window, and it'll grow.
all absorbed, so you add a little bit more. You can even do this with just water, but if you do add some onion, and then you cover your pan and let it cook very slowly for about 15 minutes. Because as you remember, the spinach has just been blanched for about 1/2 minute, so it isn't really cooked yet. And keep looking at it because it quickly sticks to the bottom of the pan. There. Now, spinach goes with fish and with chicken breast and is an absolutely delicious dish when cooked
Yeah, imagine
this
if it
way.
did boom.
Now
That'd be pretty
here
wild.
are all our vegetables. We have our spinach here, which is spinach braised in cream with poached eggs on it. And we have carrots. There are carrots. And we have, this is the way your mushrooms look when they have been, because I saved the biggest one to show you that, but this would have shrunk up about 2/3, but there it is when it's all broiled. And we have our lovely fresh green beans. So all of these, you see, all of these can be done ahead and then heated up just before you're going to serve. Now, carrots are a lovely vegetable. Cooked this way, they go extremely well with roasts, or they're good in a combination of other vegetables, like, remember our little braised onions that we've done several times, but carrots and onions and quartered sauteed mushrooms are lovely together. And this spinach, I'm most anxious for you to try it because it is so good. This cream in it, or a stock, makes it a lovely bed for anything. If you're doing poached fillets of fish, for instance, you put a bed of creamed spinach or spinach.
Why does she say carrots so aggressively?
And then lay your fillets of fish over it, and then put on a lovely sauce.
You have to show the carrot who's boss, right?
And
if you show fear to a carrot, you're doomed.
Really nice. Just as a first course, take the crusts off some white bread and saute them in butter until they're a light golden brown, and then put 3 or 4 of these mushrooms on, and you have a perfectly lovely hot appetizer.
Never show fear to a carrot.
We're going to use this vegetable plate as a luncheon dish or a light supper. And we have hot French rolls and an Alsatian Traminer wine, which is a lovely light floury wine that's not too dry and goes perfectly beautifully with vegetables. And we also have a pitcher of hollandaise sauce in case anybody likes that kind of thing.
Melissa gets that weird moss flower.
I've done this clearly enough.
Is that why they dice them so fine? Exactly.
Do these vegetables yourself. I think the most important one is the large
PTSD. That's right. They threatened her family.
Drop either your spinach or your green beans. And remember,
maybe she choked on a carrot once.
About 4 or 5 minutes. You keep tasting it, and when it's just right, you drain all the water off and then refresh it in cold water. And that refreshing is the most important, well, the second most important part of it.
Nothing better than a purple carrot whole.
As you can imagine, if you drained it off into a colander and then the beans all sat
Is that a
on top of
euphemism?
each other, they'd lose all their color and freshness, and by refreshing them in cold water, you retain the lovely crunchy taste of a wonderful fresh vegetable. And next time we're going to do veal scallops the French way, which is a quick and lovely dish to do. So that's all for today on the French Chef.
Veal scallops.
Child. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. She'd love to eat a purple carrot.
Mastering the art of French cooking.
Purple carrots are sweeter than orange carrots. Oh.
The French Chef is made possible by a grant from Safeway stores.
All right. So veal scallops should be next. No. Puff pastry? Acorn. Nope, veal scallops.
The French Chef is made possible by a grant from Safeway stores.
These are veal scallops, escalope de veau. Quick to cook, delicious to eat, and here they are, ready to serve. We're doing them today on the French Chef.
Purple on the outside and orange on the inside. Very pretty. I think I've had a purple carrot before. Veal scallops. Oh, I'm trying to flip it over.
Welcome to the French Chef. I'm Julia Child. Today we are doing veal scallops. Scallops comes from the French word escalope, meaning a thin slice. It's like a scallop potato, sliced potato. So scallops or veal are slices of veal. They cook awfully quickly, about 7 or 8 minutes.
That's quick.
Can be sauced and served in all kinds of different ways. I'm going to show you several today. Now, the first thing you have to think about with veal is that you have to get tender and delicious
So good.
quality.
Sounds good.
Veal, as you know, is pre-adolescent beef. It's only 5 to 12 weeks old. That means that's under 3 months. And best quality is a very, very pale, whitish pink. It's about the color of raw chicken, just a little bit pinker. And if it's milk-fed and of the right age, it is that pale pink
That's
color.
quickly?
It's
Huh.
tender. But if it's grass-fed, or if it gets older, becomes a calf, for instance, it gets increasingly rosy and fairly dark red. So when you're picking veal, train yourself to look for its color. And if you've got a friend who knows what veal is supposed to look like, take them along with you so that you can get your eye trained. Because once you know what the color is supposed to be like, you won't get the reddish or tough pieces. And a veal scallop, the French veal scallop, is a slice of meat from the leg. It's a cross-cut slice. And the leg is often called the round of veal. I'm going to show you a picture of it, because when you're buying meat, you should try and familiarize yourself just as much with meat cuts as possible, because a vague meat buyer is often open to terrible disappointments. Now here's a cross cut of the leg or round, and I've separated this because the round separates itself into muscles just as the older beef does. See, this part here is the top round, and this, which is next to the bone, is the knuckle or face or sirloin tip. And here's the bottom round. Here you see it, there's that little eye of a round when you're picking a beef, which is cut that way. You often get the eye of a round, and there's the bottom round. But this piece here, the top round, and if you look very carefully at a slice of veal, you can see how these separations are. That's the best place to get your scallops from. So this just takes a little practice in looking, and you'll be able to spot what they are. Now here is a piece.
Used to work at a place, they'd be so thin you didn't need a knife to cut into.
Got me a beautiful pale
Nice.
pink large veal, and he cut me out what would correspond to the top round of beef. As you can see, there aren't any muscle separations there. That's a solid piece of meat. But when you get, I went to a supermarket also and got what was called cutlet, a cutlet. I don't know why they call it a cutlet, because it comes from the French côtelette, which means the rib. But this was also cut from the round or leg. But they took, because they don't, I mean, it would cost an awful lot of money, I think, probably. They took a meat tenderizer like this, and they just go whap. And that cuts, sort of tenderizes it. And because on the other side, if you can see this piece, there are these little filaments here. And these really should be cut off, but they weren't. So they could go whap onto that, and that would break off some of the filaments. But if you can't get the proper piece of meat, you can use this kind perfectly well. The only trouble is that it curls up a little bit as it's cooking, but it will taste good. Now with this veal here, it's cut 3/8 of an inch thick. And then it's pounded.
The whap is what they did.
Solid piece of meat. There's a little tiny separation there, but that doesn't make any difference. And then you pound it between a sheet of waxed paper. That one seems to be a little bit torn, but it doesn't make any difference. And if you don't have a meat tenderizer, I got this at some hardware store. You can use a bottle or a rolling pin. Here's a French one, which is very nice. You can use it either that side or this side. And then you just lay your piece of meat between wax paper and pound it. That flattens it out a little bit. And you want it flattened to 1/4 of an inch. The Italian veal scallopinis are much thinner, but the French ones are a little thicker, and one piece like that makes one good serving. So we're now going to saute them. I'm also going to saute some mushrooms along with it because we're going to use them later on. Now, as always with the sauteing, as we've done this several times, but I'll just keep on repeating it, you'll hear that they're sauteed in butter, but it's actually oil and butter. I'm using a very light olive oil, which I get in my supermarket in a gallon container, and then I just put it in bottles. And then butter. We're going to use about 1.5 tablespoons of butter, and then about 1/2 tablespoon of oil. And you use the oil so that the butter will not burn. It fortifies it. And then another thing, this is just like sauteing the beef, if you remember our first program on boeuf bourguignon. You want to make sure that the meat is dry, so dry it in paper towels. If it's wet, it won't brown. This is only going to take about 8 minutes in all to saute. And now we have to wait until our butter and oil get very hot, and we will again look at the butter foam. This was just the same problem you always run into as when we did the omelets. You just have to wait until the foam foams up. And I'm going to do the same thing with the mushrooms. I'm going to saute them in oil and butter. So we will see the same business of butter foam. There, now the butter foam is beginning to subside a little bit, but I'm just going to wait a little bit longer. And then the meat goes in. We have this veal cutlet I got at the supermarket. I'm going to saute that too, and you'll see what happens. You'll notice that it curls a little bit. There, now our butter foam here is just right. So I'm going to lay in the veal. Another thing you always want to be careful of is that you don't crowd the pan. You want to keep your fat always hot but not burning. In other words, you can tell if it's burning if it's turning a dark brown. So just keep regulating your heat. Let me put in another piece. And we still have room for another one. Now that's all you want to put in. If you're going to do more veal than that, you'd have to use either 2 pans, or when the veal is done, you would put it on a side dish and then saute some more. And now do our mushrooms while the veal is cooking. These are about 2 cups of sliced mushrooms here. And as you remember with mushrooms, we've done them so many times.
A little thin batter, slightly fried that.
There's a little
sounds good.
dirty tip there. You just cut that off. And then if the mushroom cap is separated from the stem, you bend it like that to remove it. And then you put all your mushrooms in a bowl of water and do like that to them, and then put them into a sieve to let them drain, and then dry them in a towel. And then to slice them, just you remember, you hold your knife like that and your hand like that, and just slice down that way. There, I'm using about 2 cups, and we're going to do that for our second recipe, but I'm going to get them sauteed now. See, our butter is hot, and we just pour in the mushrooms and shake the pan. Get a pan with this style of the sloping sides and the long handle, because it's so easy to shake things. And now these should be turned. Then if you find that you need a little more oil or butter, just add a little bit. You want to keep the pan just filmed. And keep shaking the mushrooms. When you get used to cooking, you can do 2 or 3 things at once. And then in the mushrooms, we're going to put in some shallots or green onions. These are the shallots. There's one.
And somewhat of a walk.
It's just a small,
Seemed pretty
mild onion.
slopey.
And if you don't have shallots, and they're often hard to find, particularly in the summertime, use a green onion. This is sometimes called a scallion or a spring onion. It's just an onion which hasn't gotten a bulb on the end of it. Use that, cut off that, and then cut it off to just about where the green begins, and then cut it in half, and those 2 parts in half again, lengthwise. And then just line them all up, holding your knife again like that, and gathering them with your fingers, just cut it right down like that. And if you hold your fingernails back like that, you won't cut your fingers off. This is the kind of thing that just takes a little practice. Now, we're going to put about a tablespoon of shallots in with our mushrooms. That always gives them a little bit more flavor. These are going to get a little more cooking, so they don't need any more cooking than this. It's about 2 minutes. So I'll put them to the side and we'll use them later. Now, take a look at our veal. You can very easily tell when the veal is done by pressing it with your finger. You should get used to using your fingers a lot in cooking, because it's the best way of telling how things are done, particularly meat. Now, veal is done when you press the top of it with your finger, and it has a slightly rubbery quality. It's not squishy like raw veal. You see, that's only been just a few minutes, and it is now done.
Anything question about current place is the fact that it's geometry more squaresy. Oh yeah. I mean, yes, because the number of changes is less. Well, you know, honestly, it's not the fact that it's squares versus circles. It's the fact that the squares are simple, as opposed to the fact that it was like change, 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 change.
Now, the nice thing about these veal scallops is that
It was the fact that the circles were complicated. Like there, that was easy. It was like, okay, same color, switch, 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 same color, switch. But like there, like, ugh.
Pour out the fat from the pan. And then there's this nice brown juice in here, coagulated
Juice.
which is the treasure of your kitchen. And we're going to deglaze that with, I'm going to use some port. You can use Madeira or vermouth.
Because really the only difficulty in the pattern is about having to pay attention to the pattern.
I'm putting in about 1/4 of a cup. And then you scrape all of this up with your wooden spoon, and then all of this nice coagulated juice dissolves in the sauce. Then I'm going to also put in some more of these shallots or onions, about a tablespoon there, or a little bit more. That always gives a nice taste. And then I'm going to put in some brown stock, or you can use canned beef bouillon, or you can use cream if you'd like. If you use cream, you wait until your wine has boiled down almost completely, and then you just boil the cream in it. And we're also going to use some tarragon flavoring. Tarragon is a perfectly lovely herb. I met someone the other day who was in the supermarket who said she couldn't find any tarragon, but all the big herb houses put it out. And if you don't find tarragon, ask your grocery store to get some, because they all put it out. I'm going to put in about a half tablespoon. And tarragon is one plant that you can grow now, and you have to buy it in the plant, sort of a small plant, and it takes root beautifully in a sunny place, and you'll have it all summer, and then the next year it comes right back up again. It's just a lovely flavor, and if you haven't tried it,
All right.
do.
Here we go.
We are also going to thicken the sauce.
You notice like this, there's a lot of sort of empty space here too. That's kind of nice.
If you were in a restaurant, you would have a ready-made thickened brown sauce. It was perfectly delicious, but not many.
Okay, that was row 80.
All of that today. We're going to end up with about,
So we're on
probably
81.
less than a cup of sauce. So we'll use about a sort of a large teaspoonful of cornstarch. And then this you want to mix with the paste. You can use a little bit of water. I'll use a little bit of port wine. If you want your cooking to taste French, you always use wine, but you don't have to use it if you don't like it. Now mixing that all up. And then when the sauce is
Yay,
enough,
buddy. Are you talking about the food?
pour this in. And then if you find that it hasn't thickened enough, you can just add a little bit more and stir it around. And you want it just to have what they call a very slight liaison. I'm not sure that I'm going to have enough there, so I think I'll put in a little bit more. That's the nice thing about cornstarch. You can
Describe. Okay, thank you.
This time I'll add a little cold beef stock to it.
Cold beef stock. A tiny little bowl.
It's better to add too little at first than too much, because if you had to thin it out, then you just have to use a lot more beef stock. And what you're doing now is concentrating your sauce. I'm going to put in a little bit more. And now, we're almost ready to serve our veal. As you can see, that has just a very slight liaison, and just enough so that it will cover the veal.
Okay, we're going to pause there. We did 5 or 6 rows, I forget. But we made some good progress there. Looking good. Let's move our we are here. There we go. We are now like down here. Ooh, check that out. We're making our way down. Making our way down the pattern. Okay. Whoa. All right. We'll continue with that tomorrow. We're going to read some Galaxy Express 39. All right. Let's switch over here to the manga. Oh man, okay. That sucks. We might not be able to watch any more French Chef. Let me check. Hold on. Yeah, it's the French Chef, which is not surprising. What's weird is it took. This is from 4 days ago. It took that long for it to process, which means like the last few streams are all going to get strikes against them too. Oh well, that's unfortunate. See, this wasn't a problem when we weren't streaming on YouTube. This is a YouTube problem. When it was just Twitch and I could block out the audio, was not a problem. But again, I can't filter like I used to be able to. So, oh well. All right, let's read some Galaxy Express. Okay. Okay. Let me add Galaxy Express 39, Volume 5, Chapter 1. We finished Prologue 3. Galaxy Express. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. Eternal, Volume 5, Chapter 1, Part 1. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's do it. Okay, let's read Chapter 1 of Volume 5 of Galaxy Express 39 Eternal. We finished the 3 prologue chapters with Destiny and this guy. And there's 5 more chapters, which may or may not be related to this. We'll see. So let's just hop to it. We'll see the full title. On the next page, we see the train there and our entry. Destiny, and then we get Unmei. It's just to get you destiny, fate. ここがゼヌ中の銀河鉄道網を管理しているこの世の中心である. So destiny, again, fate. This place is the entire universe's galaxy railway web, doing control. This center of the world, it is. So destiny is the core, the nucleus, the center of this world that controls the galaxy railway web of the entire universe. And again, that's what we've kind of seen out of the last few chapters, introducing us here to the first station and all that. 小角にそこが私たちの宇宙のどの稲荷に存在するのかは永遠にわからない. Okay, so 小角 is like truthfully, frankly. Oh, I guess it's seikaku. Seikaku. Okay, so accurately. More accurately. That place, our universe's what? It's not Ichi. What is ichi? Place, situation, existing. Okay. Accurately, that place, as for the thing that exists in what place of the universe of ours, eternally will not know. Okay, so accurately, oh, I guess like exactly that place, as for what is the thing that exists in, or in what place of our universe, eternally will not know. I guess this is like we eternally will not know where exactly it exists, this place in our universe. Okay, sure. Dono ichi ni, yeah, and in what location, in what position does it exist? Will not know eternally. All right. We go from that into our splash page. We see Destiny, Reira Destiny Shura. She's looking at a honeycomb of images of trains. And we get the chapter here, which is Unmei no Namida, the tears of fate, the tears of destiny. Now, because we don't get the katakana that says destiny, I'm going to guess that is supposed to be Unmei. So this is sort of like normal fate, the tears of destiny, the tears of fate. All right, well, let's see what we got here. Hitotsu dake Ginga Tetsudo de 旅する者に分かっているのは、かなり局のすべての任務部車銀河鉄道網のすべてを Oh, this is the word I can never remember. Something されとる総任務者がレイラ・ディスティニー・シュラ。Okay. And I keep pronouncing this Ami as in web, but it's possible. It's possible it is supposed to be mole. This might be Ginga Tetsudo mole. It's not quite clear. That would be the more normal way to pronounce that, since it's mostly on readings rather than going with the kun reading of Ami. So that might be Ginga Tetsudo mole. Either way, it is. And the meaning is still correct. And then Ninmu Bu said Sha. I think that's Sho. Busho. Yeah, it's Busho. Busho, one's post, one's station. It can also mean department or bureau, which is probably what we want here. So what does this mean here? Only one thing. Only one thing in or of the Galaxy Railway to a person doing controlling. As for understanding, it is the administration offices, everything's like responsibility department, just responsibility post of the Galaxy Railways, webs, everything doing control of, all responsibility person, Layla Shura, Destiny Shura. And what was this again? This is Tsukasadoru. Tsukasadoru. Sadoru. Tsukasadoru. Subete o tsukasadoru. So ninmu sha. Okay, so the all responsible person, the person with complete responsibility that controls or governs everything of the Galaxy Railway web. And again, like maybe the responsibility office or responsibility departments, everything of the responsibility bureau. It's again Layla Destiny Shura. And this first part again, as for the thing understanding to the people that travel on the Galaxy Railway, there's just one thing. There's just one thing that people that are traveling, doing travel, the travelers of the Galaxy Railway, they just understand one thing. That the fully responsible person that governs everything, yada yada, is Layla Destiny Shura. So I guess that one thing idea is coming off of this, which is, where is this location for Destiny? Eternally will not know. The one thing they do know is all that. この世の運命の始まりから終末の時までを知り尽くしているこの世で一番辛い役目を達している女性だということだ。Okay. This world's fate, or this world's destiny, from the beginning until the time of its ending, like knowing to exhaustion, knowing fully well, Shiritsuku, to have full knowledge. In this world, the most painful, heartbreaking role, doing completion, woman, it's that sort of a thing. Okay, so the event called being a lady, a woman, again, we're talking about Layla, being a woman who accomplishes the most bitter, painful role in this world, knowing full well, I guess, again, like until the end, from the beginning, the fate of this world. Yeah. So this is her. She knows full well the fate of this universe, the destiny of this world, from its beginning to its very end. And it's the event of her completing that role, the most painful, bitter role of this world, knowing this. Okay. Oh, right. So we see the Arcadia coming out of darkness here. Wow, or wow. It's Captain Harlock's ship. And we always get the back view to confirm it has this like Spanish galleon type look to it. Wow. Zoo, zoo, zoo. Mime, Yuki Kei to hanashi ga shitai. Obi o hazushite kurenai ka? Okay, so he says Mime. He's talking to this woman, Mime. Mime want to do talking with Yuki Kei. Do we know who that is? I don't recall. This Yuki as a word? I feel like we came across this. The problem is K here is Hotaru, meaning firefly. So this is probably a name, right? Mime, I want to do talking with Yuki Kei, this person. And then Obi o hazushite kurenai ka? Will you not do the favor of removing the obi? Okay, it is not obi. Is it tabi? No, not tabi. Will you not do the favor of removing the... Removing the, oh, seki. Okay, I'm not clearly in a good place to be reading tonight. Sekio, let's just say, oh, okay, removing the seat, leaving one's seat, excusing oneself temporarily. So will you not do the favor of leaving one's seat, excusing oneself temporarily, stepping outside for a moment? Wakatteru Haruku. Understood, Harulock. I understand. Oh, okay. So he wants to talk with someone, so he's asking her to basically step away for a moment. Okay, this must be Yuki K. Nandeshouka, Captain. What could it be? What do you need, Captain? Tai. Not Taisho. Boy. Taiyo. Yeah, isn't it? It's Yo. Oh, it could also be Ryo. Tairyo. No. Oh, Q. Q-yo. Got there. Q-yo. Q-yo no jikan datta mono desu kara. So what could it be, Captain? Time of rest or recreation. It was thing. Because like I was on a break. Kimi no ototo ga tabi ni detta. Your younger brother went out on travel. So your younger brother has gone out on a journey. Shitemasu? Yep, I am familiar. I know. Watashi ni wa ototo ga futari imasu. Answer to me, younger brothers 2 exist. So I have 2 younger brothers. Watashi ni mite hoshi no umi o tobu no ga yume da to itsumo so ittemashita. To me, resembling planets, or to me, resembling sea of stars flying. Is it? That is neat there, right? Resembling, looking like, being similar. Always that way said. Always that way said. It's a dream. Flying. Tobu no. Flying the sea of stars, resembling me. I guess she's saying one of her younger brothers used to say this, like always said it that way, that it's a dream flying the sea of stars that resembles me. I guess that's supposed to be like, well, take it as you will. Chichi ni kibishiku ikikasareta ita mono desu kara. My dad painfully being asked thing it was. That's why. I don't know. I am not good with kiku. Let me just hop here. Okay. Oh, okay. By father, I guess ikiku here is to be like told. Ikikase, yeah, to tell someone. being told strictly, severely, sternly by father, that sort of a thing it was. So that was her father that used to say that. That, wait, it's a dream? Making fly the sea of stars resembling me. Okay, that I guess I need to figure out too, because this makes no sense. Okay. Is it nite? Similar to. That's it. Okay. Similar to me, flying through the sea of stars, similar to me, it's a dream. That way saying, by father, strictly being told thing. Soul either. These may be separate. It's hard for me to tell whether she's saying her two brothers and then always was said that way, that again, it's a dream to fly through the sea of stars like me. That sounds like it would be one of her younger brothers. And then by the father, by dad, being strictly warned, it was that sort of thing. Not that the father was warning this, because that doesn't make any sense. So I think those are kind of separate. Okay, in any case. So datta na, K. It was that way, wasn't it, K? Chichi mo ginga boe kukan hikotai no pilot deshita kara. Father also, now maybe this is my father also, was a pilot of the Galaxy Defense Space Flying Squad. So my father was also that. So it was that way, wasn't it, Kay? My father was also that. Presumably that means different fathers. Because, I mean, she wouldn't have to tell him that. Anyway. Yoku shiteru. Knowing well. I know it well. O chichiue wa inochi o kakete tatakawareta. As for father, gambling life and fought. He this is like passive, right? Was fighting, gambling his life, risking his life. そして地球は何で? Oh, man. Oh, yabureru. To be defeated. そして地球は破れ、属 No, it's a different different thing there. I don't know how to do this in the right order. Did I get that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did. Okay. That was the right order. To encounter. Oh, that's owl. I didn't realize there was like a fourth owl. Or a fifth owl. Okay. Oh, but this is, we went fugu? fugu, misfortune, bad luck. Okay. Yabure fugu no uchi ni naku narareta. Again, as for dad, risking his life and was fighting. And then, and in addition, and then as for Earth, destroyed, defeated, and I guess like died to bad luck, died in bad luck. Yeah. In the group of bad luck passed away. Okay, so that's what happened to their dad. Died in bad luck when the Earth was destroyed. Fought risking his life. Ore ga satta no ga iya. Ore tachi ga satta no ga sono ato no Muzan na chiku da. Muzan. Cruel. All right. Me passing away or passing along. No, we passing along that after atrocious, cruel Earth it is. Okay, what does sata mean here? Oh, to leave. So then I left. No, we left, departed, went away. That cruel Earth, that it was cruel afterwards. So again, like this idea that the Earth was, there was some sort of battle, Earth was defeated, and then I guess it became a cruel, atrocious place. And so he left, he went away, and then no, we went away. That cruel Earth that existed afterwards. Okay, and there's the Arcadia leaving Earth. Wakattemasu, I understand. Demo, but, watashi wa chichi ga kuuka no tondeta koto wo hokori ni omottemasu. As for me, father, the event of flying through space or the sky, having pride in thinking. So as for me, dad was, I guess, as for me, I think dad was proud or thinking towards pride of the event of flying in space. Watashi wa chichi ga kuuka no tondeta koto wo hokori ni omottemasu. Yeah, I think this is like, as for me, I am thinking that dad was towards proud, meaning like he was proud of flying in space. Now, she is also saying chichi. Again, you typically only say this when you're referring to your own father, but they both appear to be talking to about their own fathers. Maybe it is the same father. I don't know. This seems weird. Futari no ototo tachi mo? So desu. Also, for my two younger brothers, it is that way. Meaning proud of flying in space. Hokka ni wa nani mo irimasen. Otherwise, nothing is necessary. Like they don't need anything else. Hokka ni wa nani mo irimasen. Okay. That's Harlock. No response. So maybe they were talking about different fathers. Ototo wa doko ni? As for younger brother, where? In what place? Oh, okay. This is the kid, Mamoru. Mamoru-kun wa destiny ni itta. As for Mamoru, he went towards destiny. So he went to destiny. That kanji, Mamoru, is what we saw at the end of the last chapter. The end of Prologue 3. Oh, that's where we saw Yuki. Okay, so that's the family name. Yuki Mamoru. That was this kid showing up to be the SPG. Again, go watch those chapters if you don't know what that is. So again, now this is Yuki K. So the same family name, Yuki. So they are talking about their own fathers. They're different. So there we go. As for Mamoru, he went towards destiny. There it is. There's the SPG. SPG, Space Panzer Grenada o Igan Shite. We saw this in the last chapter. Igan is to, or Shigan Shite. Aspiring, volunteering, applying. Doing application, doing aspiration towards the SPG, which is the Space Panzer Grenadier, which is the space armored grenade soldier. SPG, Space Panzer Grenada. The SPG, the Space Panzer Grenadier. I mean, literally what she just said. So yes, presumably that's her like what? He said, この宇宙で最も厳しく辛い任務に就くために for the purposes of taking on the most harsh, severe, strict, painful duty in this universe. So again, that is what they have described the SPG's role as. The most austere, harsh, and painful, bitter duty in the universe. ... Ano ko nara sou suru desho. If it's that kid, meaning her brother, if it's him, that way will do, probably. Then he'll probably do it. Shita no ototo mo shigan suru kamoshiremasen. Lower brother also will do volunteering, probably. So I'm guessing, right, that means that Mamoru she has said she has two younger brothers. Mamoru must be the ue no ototo, the upper younger brother, meaning the younger brother that's closer in age to her, whereas the other one, whose name we don't know, is the lower younger brother, meaning the most young from her. I have not seen that wording before, but that would make sense. 39 kara shirase ga atta. From the 39, a warning, a message has existed. It came in. それだけを知らせておきたかった. Just that thing, wanted to advise, wanted to let know, wanted to inform. Dewa, well then. Okay, so that was, he had gotten a news, a shirase from the 39, and it was just wanting to inform that information. Okay. All right, so she's departing. Mime comes back. Haroku, chushin o nani shi itashimasu. What would this be? Not Matsuri. What is, I can remember this one. Not Sai. Sasuru. Sashi. Okay, so Harlock. Again, Shinchu o sashi itashimasu. One's heart, one's true motives, will do guessing. So she's basically saying, I'm going to guess your heart, your true motives. Arigato, thank you. Wait, what? Haroku. Chushin o osashi itashimasu. Oh, maybe.
Hello there.
I guess there's our works in progress. This is more like I think I know what you're feeling. I think I know what you're feeling. So he's saying thank you. Or like, I guess I can guess how you feel. Ore mo uchu e detta goro. I also, at the time of having gone out into the universe, Tochiro to Shihatsu eki Destiny ni itta koto ga aru. With Tochiro, the first station Destiny to that place went event exists. So basically, I also, the time that I went out into the universe, I went to Destiny, the first station Destiny with Tochiro. Reira Destiny Shura wa oretachi ni itta. As for Layla Destiny Shura, to us, I guess, said. She said to us. And then this is what she said. Onore no hata o. This is like to unfurl your flag. Hata o. What is this kanji? Kakageru. To put up, to hang, to float, to fly a flag. Onore no hata o kakage, jiyu ni hoshi no umi o tobu no ga anata gata no unmei da. To. So again, she said, flying your own flag and freely flying the sea of stars, your destiny it is. That's your destiny, your fate. And anatagata, that is either a polite way to refer to him, or she's referring to both him and Tochiro. Like your side. It is the fate of you and your side to fly freely the sea of stars, unfurling, hoisting your own flag. Kono yo no unmei no subete. Everything of the fate or destiny of this world. Nanimo kamo o minuiteru yo na sono me wa nani ryoku ga atta. Okay. Minuku is to see through. An eye is that surudoi, sharp. Yep, surudoi, keen, and it's not going to be hakuryoku. It is hakuryoku. Force intensity. Hakuryoku ga atta. Okay, everything of the fate or destiny of this world, in the manner of seeing through everything, as for those eyes, sharp impact existed. Oh, he's talking about Destiny's eyes. As for those eyes, meaning her eyes, they had a sharp intensity impact in the manner of seeing through everything of the fate, destiny of this world. Ginga Tetsuro no Shihatsu eki Destiny ga doko ni aru no ka ima to natte wa ore ni mo wakaranai. The first station, Destiny, of the Galaxy Railway, in what place does it exist? As for becoming even now, even to me, not knowing. So even to me, even now, I don't know where it is. So that's echoing what we saw at the very beginning of the chapter. Okay. All right, something's happening here. Actually, let me zoom out. Alrighty. And we're going to get a couple tall panels with some dialogue. What do we have? Soul. Indeed, it is that way. Ginga Tetsuro no subete no resha no shihatsu eki wakusei unmei destiny no seikaku na ichi o shiru mono wa inai. So indeed, the Galaxy Railways, everything's trains, first station, planet destinies, accurate location, knowing people, as for that, does not exist. Okay, so working backwards, as for people that know the exact precise location of the planet this, the first station of all the trains of the Galaxy Railway, the people that know that don't exist. So echoing Harlock's statement there. Ginga Tetsuro no Kukankiro o hashitteru resha dake ga kono wakusei ni tadori tsuki hassha suru koto ga dekiru. Okay. Tadori tsuku. Oh, to struggle on. To arrive after a struggle. Okay, so only trains that run on the space railway of the Galaxy Railway, so only trains that do that, to this planet, meaning this planet Destiny, where the first station is, will arrive after a struggle, and it's possible the event of doing train departure, or yeah. Okay. Tatoe chikaku o koukou suru uchu bune ga atta toshitemo. Okay, so even for a spaceship that does voyaging closely, for example, so even if a spaceship, oh, I guess this is an example. So even if a spaceship travels closely, does voyaging closely, for example, sensae no hano no usui gasu jo no kyujou seiyun ga kasuka ni kanji toreru dake da. So even if a spacecraft voyages closely to Destiny, on the sensors, a weak response of a gas condition or a gas quality spherical space cloud or star cloud, Kasuka. Oh, faintly, dimly, that feeling being taken, it's just that. So again, right, even if a spaceship passes closely, it'll only take on the feeling weakly of a spherical space cloud of a gas type that's a weak response on the sensors. All right. And this is not the end of the chapter. The chapter is actually much longer, but we're going to pause here. So let's read the last page because this looks like it's a good pause point. There we go. We see a bunch of galaxies. What do we have for our final thoughts at this pause point? Ginga Tetsudo Mo no Shihatsu Eki 運命のある場所をいついかなる時でも知ることができるのはレイラ・ディスティニー・シュラ自身。Okay. いついかなる。いついかなる。I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Well, let's see what we got here. The Galaxy Railway Web's first station Destiny, that existing place. I guess this is supposed to be whatever the time may be, or whatever becoming the case may be, even that knowing event. As for that being possible, it's Layla Destiny Shura herself. Okay, as for the one that it's possible for the event of knowing even the time, and I guess any sort of time or location for that place, it's only Layla herself. Okay. 運命そのもののと、もう一人というべきか、もう一つの一体な存在。With fate itself, mo hitori, one more person? One more person ought to be, question mark? One more thing of a great existence? Okay, this, I don't know what this is supposed to be saying. It's Layla Destiny Shura herself that knows the location, where it is. As for like with fate itself, one more person, Toyo Bekika, should it be called that? One more person of a great existence? Oh, Ankoku Sekai no Unmei o Tsukasadoru Shihaisha. It's the controller who governs the fate of the dark world. The darkness world. Darkness world's fate controlling controller. Governing controller. So there is one more person. A great existence. I guess. Yeah, there is one more person who knows. A great existence. It's the controller who governs the fate of the dark world. Okay. Sono futari dake da. It's just those two people. Ankoku sekai no shihaisha ga nani o omou sonzai ka izure unmei ga shirasete kureru daro. The controller of the darkness world. It's an existence thinking of what? At any rate, Destiny will probably do the favor of letting know, of informing. So I guess this is like the controller of the world of darkness it's an existence that, what does it think about? It's an existence that thinks about what? Or nanio mo sonzai ka? At any rate, its destiny will probably do the favor of informing. There we go. That's the end of that section. And, you know, rather than continue to torture myself with this, we'll pause there. We'll pause there with chapter 1 of volume 5 here, and we'll continue. It's going to be the chapters 2 times. It's going to take 2 more segments to get through this. It's a very long chapter. So, okay, we will continue next time. Chapter 1. Whew, that was tough. We haven't had a chapter that hard in a long time. Well, oof. That's going to do it for us for today, I think. Oh. Oh man, I can't believe it's already going on Thursday. Holy crap. All right. Oh, I don't want to spoil that. I'll be honest, I'm really tired. I just need to go to bed. So, we're going to go raid the Mexican runner again. I'm going to cop out. All right. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I hope you all have a good rest of your week here. We should be streaming at normal time tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. The meeting is supposed to end at 3. I should be able to get home. We shall see though. Who knows? So we should be back to normal tomorrow. I hope you have a good rest of your week here. Trying to think what else is going on. No, we'll be doing our normal stuff. We'll be doing, we'll be making whales, making another whale tomorrow, I'm sure. I have eyeballs now. I have eyeballs. So we'll make whales. We'll give our whales sight, hopefully. We'll work on our scarf. We'll do manga reading. I think tomorrow's Jujutsu Kaisen. And maybe some Azumanga Daioh. We'll see. Anyway, have a good one. Thanks again. And I will see you all next time.